A United Airlines flight attendant has been removed from duties after she did this. You see it right there. She opened the door, she tossed her bag out, and she went away on that slide. She did it while a medical emergency was happening at the back of the plane. You can see none of the other 159 passengers on board followed suit. Some passengers even said they didn't know what was actually going on. They were pretty surprised by it all.
Told at any point, to the best of my knowledge, that the emergency chute was deployed.
All right, so there's a good reason why the story sounds so familiar to you. Former JetBlue flight attendant Steven Slater, he also grabbed national headlines when he did the exact same thing back in 2010. You probably remember it. Slater, he made his dramatic exit. You're seeing it right there on your screen. Just after telling off a few passengers, grabbing a couple of beers, because why don't you grab a couple of beers before you go down the slide? And he quit at the same time. I am joined now by former flight attendant and co-host of the Jet Set, Bobby Lori. Bobby, we see these videos over and over again. They're so incredible. We can't even believe what's going on in the passengers' minds along with the flight attendants' minds. You actually know Steven pretty well. What is going on here? And especially in regards to the fact that you know Steven. I mean, what did he have to say about all this?
Well, you know, first and foremost, I am a former flight attendant, and I did not quit this way, though it was very tempting. But, you know, Steven and I did have a conversation after he did what he did, and it really all just came down to stress. It came down to, you know, airlines are taking away amenities, and they're charging more fees, and the flight attendants are the ones taking the brunt from the passengers. So he had just broken. That was his outlet. That was his way of just saying, I'm done. And it kind of sounds like this may have been what happened down in Houston, because if there was a medical emergency happening in the back. I think they came in from Sacramento. Who knows what happened on that flight? Maybe this flight attendant had just decided this is it.
Well,
but, I mean, to do it that way.
It's important to know, Bobby, no one is connecting the medical emergency to what this flight attendant did. But it sounds to me like you're saying this could be a little bit of a copycat episode.
It could be a little bit of a copycat episode. It could also just be the stresses of the job. I mean, you know, there's a lot of talk out there nowadays about flight attendant rest. A lot of passengers don't realize that flight attendants don't get the same amount of rest that pilots do. Who knows what the rest of their trip was like? And this might have just been the, hey, there's the door. This is how I want to quit type situation. I mean, in flight attendant training, they drill in you the proper use of the door, how to arm and disarm it, and like the cardinal sin is doing exactly what they both done.
So without telling us exactly how to do it, because we probably shouldn't have that kind of knowledge as regular people that fly on planes, how easy is it to actually open up this door and deploy these slides?
It's actually pretty easy, and it actually happens very frequently by accident. It is something it is something in training that they do instill in you. Caterers can actually arm and blow the doors by accident. Cleaners can as well. It's pretty easy to do, so it's something that they really keep drilling you with while you're in initial training. And if you do happen to do it by accident, which of course pending investigation they prove that it was by accident, you basically just go back to training and have a refresher course in how to operate the doors.
You know, but Bobby, at the end of the day, you know, as a flight attendant and pilots as well, their first priority is really the passengers on the plane. In this instance, this could have caused a lot of hysteria, and something awful could have really happened. People rushing off the plane, other people getting stampeded, people getting hurt. I mean, thankfully it didn't.
Right.
But, I mean, at the end of the day, this person was not looking out for anybody else except themselves.
Well, you know, it's pretty interesting because there was a medical emergency happening in the back, one would assume that all the passengers were told to stay seated. So she kind of had the perfect opportunity to do what she did without everyone rushing to the front of the plane to deplane or also go down the slide themselves. And one of the things that you are taught before you do blow the slide, even in an emergency situation, is to look through the little window on the door to make sure that there's no one out there or there's nothing obstructing the slide. In this video, you actually see there is something on the ground that the slide covers. Yeah. So she should have seen that and not blown the slide, because it could have hit that and punctured the slide, and then her escape would have been a lot different.
While you've been talking, Bobby, that video just keeps playing over and over, and I still can't believe that she actually did it. It's really incredible stuff. Bobby Lori, co-host of the Jet Set, thanks so much for joining us. Very much appreciate it.
Thanks so much for having me.